Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Just like the title and the thumbnail said, today we're talking about 6.5 Creedmoor, and we are going to see how much boot-lot droppage we get out of it. A lot of people pick up a 6.5 Creedmoor because it's a flat round. Today I'm going to take you out to the range with my Ruger American. This thing, that's not the right one. A different Ruger American. With this Ruger American, this is my Ruger American Predator. We have several videos with this exact same boot-lot slinger all the way out to 1,000 yards. Pick this up for 400 beans, take it out to 1,000. Boom, piece of cake, no problem. But today we're doing 6.5 Creedmoor drop. I'm going to take you out to the range, show you in real life the drop that I get. Then I'm going to show you on a ballistics calculator on paper and see what numbers that calculator spits out. Compare it to what we actually got out at the range. And then I'm going to show you the drop numbers and the dials for your scope all the way out to 1,000 yards. This is going to be with some of this Hornady black 140 grain boat tail hollow point. So this stuff has a high BC. The interwebs tells me that this has a BC of 0.580. If you're not into the match or precision long range stuff, I've already done this exact same video with 6.5 Creedmoor with some lead nose hunting ammo with a much lower BC that teaches you the holdovers and the dials for hunting purposes with the lead nose hunting round. But today we're using those boat tail hollow points. Should be able to get some really good groups with them, but let's just take you out to the range quick with this Ruger, then I'll show you on paper and we'll just see what actually happened in the real world and get you some data all the way out to 1,000 that you can use as a baseline if you're trying to stretch out your 6.5 Creedmoor. Should be pretty cool. Check it out. Let's go to the range. Alright, so I don't know about you, but that group we got at 100 yards, we verified the 100 yard sighting. That might be the best group I've ever got with 6.5 Creedmoor. That's 3 in almost the same hole, 2 in near the exact same hole, but 0.368 inch group with 3 shots with that Hornady black out of my Ruger at 100 yards. So first we had to verify the 0 before we took it out even further. So that thing is definitely sighted in at 100 yards. Just about couldn't get any better than that. But then I stretched it out to 200 and did some 3-shot groups. And at 200, I almost couldn't believe it. Almost shot, I know for a fact this is the best group I've ever gotten at 200 yards. So I did 2 targets. A 3-shot group up here and then a 3-shot group down here. Let's look at the top one first. So I held there with my 100 yard sight in to see how much drop we would get. That's the whole point of this video. And first of all, let's look at that group. That's a 3-shot group at 200 yards, 0.866 inch group at 200 yards. So needless to say, I'm never getting rid of that Ruger American. And I'm gonna try to find as much of that horny black as I can find, because that stuff is awesome out of that Ruger American. So first off, crazy good group with this combo. Second of all, when I held there, my drop was 4.178 inches with a 100-yard sight in at 200 yards. So at 200 yards with this group, it dropped just over 4 inches. Then we went ahead and did the exact same thing. Group was also very impressive. Not quite as good as the first one, 2 almost touching, but that 3-shot group there was 4.7. What am I doing? That's the drop, guys. Over here. That group there with the 3 shots was a 1.144 inch group. Super impressive to me at 200 yards. That's probably the second best 200-yard group I've ever shot. But the drop there on this one, for whatever reason, maybe I just wasn't doing the as good of a hold or what have you. But with me flinging them, this time I got a 4.7 inch drop at 200 yards. So average those 2 drops together, we're going to go with a 4.5 inch drop with a 100-yard sight in at 200 yards with the 6.5 Creedmoor with those 140 grain boat tail hollow points. Now, let me take this data and put it in a ballistics calculator, drop chart calculator, whatever you want to call it, with the BC of those of a 0.580. That's pretty high. There's some that might get a little bit higher in the 0.6s, but the 0.58 ain't. That's pretty high. Let me show you this chart here all the way out to 1,000 yards with the holdovers and the scope dials for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Check it out. So if you take a look at this chart here, you can see I've got the BC plugged in there, 0.580, bullet weight, the muzzle velocity there, and with a 100-yard zero. Then you can see if you go down to 200, this chart is saying at 200 yards, it should drop 3.9 inches. So within a half an inch of what we actually saw at the range. Our average there was 4.5, but we had one that was 4.1 inch drop. So this chart is pretty close to the actual real world data that we got out there at the range. Then if you look there at the elevation columns, so the first one, that's how many drops in inches. The second and the third is what you would need to dial on your scope, whether you got an MOA scope or a mil scope. So if you were flinging them at 200 like we did today in this video, with an MOA scope it'd be 1.8 MOA. For mils, you dial for 0.5 mils. Go down to say 500, you need to dial 10.6 MOA or 3 mils for 500 yards. That's a pretty good baseline to be slinging them at. Go all the way down to 1,000. That round is dropping 342 inches, which pretty much means nothing to nobody. Or 32 MOA dial or 9.5 mils. One thing to keep in mind, that chart, that's a real good starting point. That's a real good baseline. It may be exactly right for your setup, but if anything, it's going to get you real close with your 6.5 Creedmoor, assuming you're using a 140 grain bullet with a pretty similar BC, and it's not 200 degrees out there with 200 mile-per-hour winds. But that chart is going to get you a real close baseline. If you're new to 6.5 Creedmoor, or you're looking for a 6.5 Creedmoor drop chart cheat sheet and that's why you clicked on the video, hey, go ahead and use that chart as your starting point. Definitely need to make sure that you're zeroed in and you can get good groups before you try to stretch it out. But hey, there you go, guys. 6.5 Creedmoor, getting incredible groups out of this Ruger American. Like I said, we've got videos slinging this one at 1,000 yards with my buddy Alabama Arsenal. Piece of cake. Y'all go check out those 6.5 Creedmoor long range videos if you haven't already. If 6.5 Creedmoor isn't necessarily your favorite, we've done tons of these videos already with a lot of common rounds. 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster. We've done drop charts with 270, 223. If you can think of it, we've probably already done a drop chart on it. You'll want to check out those videos. Sometimes it's fun to know and compare the different drop charts, and it's going to save you a whole lot of money and guesswork if you just go with the chart we gave you and not have to do a bunch of guessing, waste a bunch of money just starting low and gradually going up. But Appreciate y'all watching. Comment down below what you want to see next time. 6.5 Creedmoor. There's a lot of people that love it. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one. Hooty hoo!